Hi, I'm Bethany. Thanks for watching. I am going to show you how to make little chalkboard signs or ornaments today. They can be made into a chalkboard, or they can also be made into a little photo. They can be given as gifts, used around the house, used for parties, can be hung as signs on doors. As always, I recommend that you have a bunch of friends over and make a party out of it. The supplies you will need today are canning rings, canning lids, chalk paint that you can buy at the craft store and you should use a coupon, a paintbrush, doesn't really matter what size, you could use a foam brush, and honestly you could just use your finger to spread it around. Some chalk or a chalk marker. I like using a marker better because it's easier to read, however sometimes it does have trouble coming off of the chalkboard. It's a little more like paint. So keep your paint just in case you want to repaint the surface of your chalkboard. You'll need some cardboard, which I like to use old game boxes that have fallen apart, or you can use the backing on a drawing pad. You'll need scissors, a hot glue gun and glue sticks, some super glue, also a pen or a marker, and then you'll want to get either rope or yarn or cord to put around the outside of the chalkboard. I got my cording or my rope at the local hardware store. It's much cheaper that way. And because you have to buy these things in a large quantity, it's fun to have friends over. That way you can make a lot of them together. Just try to come up with lots of ways that you can use these. So if you make 20 of them, you can give them as gifts. You can write all kinds of cute little chalkboard teacher things. There are so many cute chalkboard decorations on Pinterest and on the internet. Find something cute and make lots of gifts out of it. So the first thing we want to do is, I've got the back of a scrapbook or a drawing pad. I'm going to take the canning lid that fits in the canning ring. I know mason jars are all the rage right now, and people are left with lids and rings, and what do you do with them? Well, I'm going to show you. Take the lid. We're going to trace. I'm going to make 2 of them. I'm going to make one hanging chalkboard and one easel chalkboard. Next, you're going to cut them out. You'll want to cut them just inside your marker line. Next, you'll take your chalk paint. I'm super lazy. I pour my paint into my lid and I use my lid. And I would recommend doing 2 coats of chalkboard paint on each one of your mini chalkboard surfaces. The next step will be adding your chalkboard into your ring. It'll be kind of a tight push. If it doesn't lay flat, you can trim it a little bit. And then you'll take your hot glue gun, put about 3 beads of hot glue in there, push your canning ring right into it, nice and tight, and let it dry. Now we're going to add our rope. You want to seal the end of your whatever rope or yarn or cord that you're using so that it doesn't fray. You can do this whole thing with super glue. It'd be kind of tricky. You might need to use some tape and a little bit more patience to make it happen. Put a bead of glue on the rigid part of the ring. Push your rope into it until it dries. Wrap it around nice and taut. until you find where it meets. Make sure it's nice and tight on that ring. And mark it with your finger, and you're going to cut it. Seal that end off a little bit. Add a little more glue to the connection point. Make sure it's still warm, and bring those two ends nice together. And lastly, to make it an easel, you'll make a 1 inch wide by 4 inch long cut of that cardboard or mat board. Bend it about 2/3 of the way down. Make sure that the connection point is on the bottom as we secure the easel. If you want it higher up, you're going to want to put it lower on the inside of that ring. If you want it to tip back further, you're going to put it higher. So I'm going to put it pretty close to the middle. Add some hot glue and glue it on. There you'll have your little easel chalkboard. And to make sure everything stays put, we're going to craggle it. The hot glue is not good enough long term, but the hot glue keeps it in place, kind of like a clamp, so that when you put the super glue on, you can just walk away. So we will let that dry. If you want to make a hanging chalkboard, it's almost the same process. We're going to seal the end. Add a little bit of glue to the rigid part of the ring. Let that dry. Then we'll find the top. Add a little bit of glue. Pull the rope taut till it hits there. Let it dry. Then swing the rope around to as long as you want it, based on where you want to hang it. If it's an ornament for a Christmas tree, make it smaller. If you need it to go on a doorknob, make it bigger. Add a bit of glue at the top here, where it's going to meet. Find where you're going to cut it. Seal the end a little bit and add your glue to the connection point. Then you will want to take a little bit of some kind of rope or yarn or string. This time I'm actually going to cut a little section of this. Try to take off a portion here, and we're just going to tie a knot where it joins to keep that together. I really like that. Oh, that's cute. And you will just put a little bit of super glue on all the joints. And here as well. So it lasts forever. easel has trouble staying up, you can put a little bit of glue and bend the leg part. Once that cools, you should be able to, it should make it sturdier. Sometimes they'll lose their stiffness over time. Other than that, here's a little chalkboard sign you could give your bus driver. I hope that you try this at home. I hope you try it with your friends, and I hope you share the sweetness of creativity with the people in your life. Thank you.